Timestamp November 2nd, 2024. It's like 1 a.m. My nose is running. Tired. It's running because I'm tired, not because I've been crying, although earlier today I did do a little bit of that. Tried to get a hold of Ron, who's a friend of my parents in the Legion. He's a chaplain, and he's a notary, actually, too. He's the one that officiated all of our wills, which we did last year. He's a good man. He's a very good man. He's got a lot of experience with military and or older military men, so I'm trying to get some good quality advice on how to proceed. Once upon a time, and I don't know that he would have been able to help me on the ins and outs of this aspect of dealing with my dad, but once upon a time, I would have been talking the ear off of a guy named Rusty. He's a good friend. A little bit older than me, and a lot wiser. Maybe one of the wisest men I've ever known. I don't know. That's him right there. He was a performer in our troupe. Dad to a couple kids that went to our hobby shop, Jackalites. One of his kids performed with us, and while he was, and I probably told you this before, if it's a rerun, I apologize. I gotta figure out this glare issue. He was kind of checking us out to make sure we weren't a bad influence on his kids, and he saw what we were doing and he wanted to get involved. He had been a firefighter and a fire marshal and fire inspector and everything pretty much but a fire licker, which I don't recommend as an occupation. You get burned out easy. But he had done a lot of theater when he was younger, and then when he became a dad and did the real life thing, firefighter career, all that, he did the real dad thing and sacrificed, honestly, what he enjoyed doing so that he could be the hunter-gatherer that his family needed. And then when he retired, again, he came down to see if we were part of the problem or part of the solution. And he liked what we were doing. We struck up a conversation or two, and he asked me if there was room for an old man like him. He was a hell of a good man. Good performer, too. Nice tenor. had the audacity to literally die on stage. And I say it that way comically because I think he'd find the humor in it. He was a little bit bent too. But, no one can top that exit. I don't know that anyone should try, But, I'm so sorry about that. It's not actually angelic glow. I know it's hard to believe. It's the light in the kitchen just sets off this wonderful glare. I do apologize. But yeah, this is I think lately I'd be calling Rusty every day. You got somebody in your life like that? I know most people don't, but I wish everyone did, Everybody needs that. I could use that. Yeah. Ron's the closest thing I got right now. Most of the old wise men in my life are gone. All of them, really. I find myself being the old man in the room. I knew it would happen one day, but I'm only 53. So I talked to my mom briefly. She's still in the hospital. Well, she isn't now. She got home tonight. I'll get to that. They wanted to get her a CPAP, and my parents have the standard Medicare, Medicaid, whatever for seniors. I forget which one it is. And I know they pay for like the bonus tier, Medicare, Medicaid Plus or whatever, and some of the benefits, are hella good. Her bill last year for hospital, whatever, because she was in for, like I said, about 5.5, 6 months, somewhere in there. I saw some of the end tallies because they, no matter what, you get at least receipts saying this is what you owe, your insurance took care of it, zero balance, but this was the actual bill. It was like over $700,000. Which, figuring out the free medical for everybody, American-wise, that would... I saw firsthand how important that could be. Because if they didn't have that, she's alive, but they are living in a cardboard box, pretty much, But everything was paid for, which is weird because this time around, maybe it's because it's a medical device and not just a treatment per se. But they want to give her a CPAP, and it was going to cost like $17,000, which she told me that, and I was like, okay, well, and in my mind, I'm thinking, considering the $700,000, so like $740,000 final bill, amount due zero, My thought was, well, I'm sure with the plus whatever that you've got going on, that's probably paid for. And she said that the insurance would only cover 80% of it, which, and here's where I think there's some cognitive decline too. She said that the insurance would cover 80% and that she'd have to handle the other 10%. No, I didn't say anything because I'm trying not to get her riled up because she's accepting of Dad's situation, but she's not accepting of her own right now. So I'm trying not to push the issue. I don't want to make any of this more stressful on her than it needs to be. But if there are only two parties and one is paying 80%, one is paying 10%, that's not 100%. So I'm kind of confused about the numbers. She said that she was feeling good. They said she could probably go without it, and she's going to be, we're going to be following up on it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to try and figure out who's paying what, can they do it, all that. I think the aspect of her home with Dad without that device, and I told her this repeatedly, but she's, well, you might have put this together by now. She's a little bit stubborn. Exactly. So, I'm a little concerned because if her oxygen dips again, and we'll hypothetically, and I know this is ludicrous, of course, but we'll just say that Dad isn't able to operate a phone correctly. I mean, that would never happen, of course. And my mom's dead on the carpet. So I'm a lot concerned. You try talking to her. But she said that Dad's in good spirits because she called me. Some of you will find this funny, some of you will find this disrespectful, and for those that find it disrespectful, I can't help you. Okay, so I have a ringtone pretty much for everyone. I pull sound bites off of like YouTube and translate it into a WAV format or an MP3, and I use those as ringtones. I hate the regular ring of a phone, and at the same time, I can hear the movie or theater or cartoon clip in my pocket, and I know immediately who is either texting me or calling me. So the ringtone I have set up for my parents' landline is it's got a very dramatic musical beat in the beginning, and it's I think it was Eric Idle. I think it was Eric Idle that was the lead, but it's the "No one expects the Spanish Inquisition." That one. So yeah, that's my parents' ringtone. I don't know, I find it funny. So I heard that and I picked it up thinking, okay. Communication devices 2, Fred 1. It was my mom. And I said, "Hi Mom, you're on the wrong phone, what's going on?" She laughed, she said, "I'm home." I'm like, got that part. I'm very quick, I went to all the best schools. And she explained what I just told you as far as the CPAP, and she said that Dad is in very good spirits and he seems to be doing pretty well. And I said, okay, because one of the trepidations that Pix and I have, vanilla cream brulee, Harry and David, yum, and my Major Havoc mug. It's such a simple old school video game, but I loved the hell out of this game. They had it at the bowling alley that I used to go to, obviously a few years ago. Love this thing. One of our trepidations is the idea that she'd get home, he'd be doing better, and Mom would say, fear is, since I've already used the word trepidation a couple times, the fear was that my mom would get home, Dad would be doing better, I won't do the air quote again, and she'd say, let's call the whole thing off, he's fine. So I asked her, you still want me to do what I'm doing? And she said, oh, absolutely, 100%. Which let me know that, yes, I am to keep taking point on this, and that he was probably, proximity-wise, pretty close. So, we're going to be relying on her acting ability a little bit here and there. So, I left messages, and I'm going to guess it's because it's Friday. Perhaps the golf courses were busier than normal, I don't know, but I didn't get any calls back or anything. So, that's not, great, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. And I know what it is. I can't get that story out of my head. Because I know that's where we're headed. I'm not sure what cute little anecdotes my dad will get stuck saying if he falls into the same communication trap, but I'm sure it'll be just as heartbreaking. So, changing the subject, on the bright side, I feel fine. I'm still smoking 2.5 cigars a day. Yes, I know. So tonight, for Kelly's birthday, although we're planning not like a huge shindig, but tomorrow we're going to be, I think, watching the original Beetlejuice, because our kids have seen it, but not the 100 times that we have. So we're going to be watching the original, which, when is that ever a bad idea? And then we're going to watch Beetlejuice, or Beetlejuice 2, if you want to call it that, but it's much more fun to do Beetlejuice. And picks. Okay, so I normally control the money. And it's not I control the money, I'm the man. It's just, she normally handles her categories, I normally handle my categories. But since she's been working a regular day job, because our eBay stuff can be spotty at best, she decided it would be fun, and I think it's pretty cool. Tomorrow we're having a Halloween birthday shindig of sorts, watching the 2 movies. Got a couple friends coming over, and she has gotten gifts for everybody, and herself included. She's got surprises cooked up. I mean, it's not a surprise in that we know that something is coming, but it is a surprise in that we have no idea what's coming. So this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And tonight we had just kind of a quiet family thing. Alex was tired, so he went to bed, but we bought a couple of the Aldi, the refrigerated pizzas that they have in the produce area, market fresh, whatever. Not really frozen, they're more chilled, what have you. Those are really damn good. So we picked up a couple of those. We hadn't done that in a while. We had some pizzas, and we watched Deadpool and Wolverine. No spoilers. I wouldn't do that to you. Really good. Really, really good. And if you're a fan of the actual comic books and even just the Marvel franchise, some of the throwbacks and cameos are just fantastic. Fantastic. They did a really good job, and of course Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are, man, they're just a delight to watch. Merc with a mouth indeed. Just a delight. It was really a lot of fun. If the only, and it's not even spoilage, if you're not a fan of the F word, like it makes you squeamish, like my mom would be going, oh, the whole time, it's a thing. If you're not a fan of the bomb, this movie will offend you. It will offend you. And George Carlin would laugh at you. But yeah, man. Oh. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be that good. It was really... The bar has been raised. So that happened. It was good. I mean, it was a nice night. My mom's still on the fence as to whether or not she wants to go in with that or not. And we need to find out if we get Dad into a facility. Because, I've never tried to commit my parents before. This is, all very new and exciting. We need to find out if, in setting this up, if she needs to go with him or she cannot meet up with him later, if you know what I mean. Because that's going to be a major factor in Mom's decision. We've left that up to her, I'm talking to her today, though. She said, I want to come home. This is earlier. I talked to her twice today. She said, I want to come home because there's a lot of things that I need to get done, but I can't do it from here. I have to be at home to be able to do it. And I asked her, I'm like, what? Not that I am the evil kid and I'm trying to home you, mrahaha. What is this? What are these pressing things that you must do? What is, like I'm talking to a ghost. What is this unfinished business? You know what I mean? And she said, well, there's bills. I've got to be able to write checks. And I said, okay. You do know that last year when you were in the hospital and I was trying to belittle your signature, the only thing that I needed you for to keep things running smoothly was your autograph. Because you didn't want me just to do things on a card. You were insistent that you must write checks. So if you remember, I filled out the checks, brought them to you at the hospital or the rehab center, and had you sign them to officiate them. And she thought about it and she said, you're right. We did do that, didn't we? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've run businesses before, with multiple employees and such. I can handle writing the bills out for 2 households. It's not even complicated. What else is this unfinished business, oh spirit? And she said, well, there's so much stuff there that just needs to be gone through and gotten rid of. And I'm like, okay, all right, now we're getting to the core of the apple. This little carousel of progress throwback right there. Don't call me Sarah. So I said, okay, look, I might have told you this story before. I apologize if I did. And, I mean, I had to refresh her memory on the story, even though she was one of the players in the scene. I said, do you remember last year? It was like in May. And I got mildly pissed because Dad had bought one of those 70s, like, rolling end tables that's made of press board with the, like, plastic wood grain finish. It's like plastic. It looks like wood, but it's like a hard plastic shell sticker. So the whole thing looks like it's, maple, but it's really just, you could peel it off and it would be just nasty, nasty pressboard underneath. Do you remember when Dad brought that home and it had 2 wheels and he was all proud to be paid like $10 for it? And he's like, I can fix this and this is easy and I'll do something with it. Now I asked him, I'm like, okay, we pay $10 for it, cool. What do you plan? Do you need it for your workshop? What do you want to do with it? Well, I don't know, but I can fix it. Because you need more projects, or I'm not seeing the connection with I can fix it and then I must buy it. What's the end game here? And I questioned him on it just because, to me, twofold. One, why? And two, totally selfish reasons, and I acknowledge that. I'm thinking this is one more thing I'm going to have to deal with. Because whether you put wheels on it or not, it's going to be here, at the end. And my mom got mad. She got mad at me. And she was like, what is it any of your business but your dad buys, what he does with his money? And I said, okay, it's not really the $10 that bothers me. Here's what bothers me. Since, we're having, honest time right now. Look, I know you don't like this word. And she kind of looked at me funny because I think she thought I was about to drop some Carlin. And I said, you guys are hoarders. You're hoarders. And Pix and I have talked about this at length. Whether you guys die or you go into a home, we are going to spend the next year to 2 years, maybe 3, God help us, digging through the rubble which is your lives. In that I'm going to spend a year or 2 cleaning up after yours. Period. And I look around me and there's no way around that. There's no way around that. I'm going to spend a year or 2 of my life cleaning up after yours. Now here's the thing. With my back, doing a full-time gig in some of the fields that I'm used to being able to work in, ain't gonna happen. It's just not. Some of the things that I used to do, I'd be in a wheelchair in 3 months. Sucks. Reality. And here's the thing, Mom. Anytime I see him bring in something like that, that guarantees 2 years and starts heading me towards 3. 3 years that I have to pay for you guys' hoarding. So, yeah, I do get annoyed when he brings in things like that, because the way he spends on projects and whatnot, he's not going to fix it and sell it or something like that. I'm going to be dealing with it. Eventually, it's going to be my monkey. So yeah, it's not my business, but it will be. And that's why I'm annoyed, since you asked. Anyway, I reminded her of that conversation. And she was like, oh, I do remember that, actually. She said, you were pretty mad, and I'm sorry about that, because I got pretty mad, too. I'm like, yeah, you got in my face about it. And you know what? I'm glad you did, not because I enjoyed your particular brand of BS at that moment, but you need to hear what I had to say. So I'm glad you brought up the point. Now here's what I'm going to tell you regarding your indecision questions, whatever. I need to go through the things that are at the house. How much gas you got in your tank, Mom? I mean, you already told me you pretty much don't have the energy to do much of anything. You sit at the dining room table most of the day. So, what have you gotten done in the past year? And she's like, honestly, not a lot. I'm like, okay. So your burning desire to go home to go through things, does that make my 2 years not 2 years? You know, are you going to spend the next 6 months going through things so to save me a week? You just burned 6 months getting me a week. I'm not trying to pressure you to go into a home, but if that's your burning reason to not go into a home, you're not sparing me anything. You're not sparing me anything. You're probably costing me more time. Because I've already spent 2 years in limbo, waiting for somebody to take some kind of action, not wanting to overstep my authority, even though I'm watching, because we should have been having this conversation about Dad a year ago. Because everybody saw this coming but you. And I don't even know if maybe you saw it coming and just were in denial or what, but we've all known that there were issues. Big issues. He's been hallucinating for 6+ years, Mom. We should have been taking steps seriously then. But I mean, Kelly and I didn't even know about it until like 2 years ago. And you said, wait for you. You'd make these calls. Well, okay. And it might be really good for his mental health if you did go with him, because you might actually keep him a little bit more calm. You know, keep him Fred longer instead of a wild man, because if we do what we're talking about doing and you're not there, just saying, you might go pretty savage trying to get to you. I don't know. I've never been here before. This is all new to me. I've never had a dad in this kind of mental condition that I was trying to put into a facility before. This is new. I never saw this coming. Well, past year or two I did, but before that, no. Never even crossed my mind. But now it's pretty much all I can think about, because it's pretty big. So, you know, if your burning desire to be home is so that you can thin the load over there, cool, it's noble. You're not going to get it done as fast as Pix and I would. Nope. And I said, you know, look, we tried to do this 1.5 years ago with you. You know, and she has a closet. One of the closets in a bedroom they don't actually use as a bedroom. And it's like, 8 foot wide, normal closet-ish, clothing bar and all that. On the bar are clothing on hangers. And they're all in good shape, great shape. Some of it's never been worn. It's been worn once or twice. It's all clothing that she wore at some point as a late teenager into her mid-20s. Now, she was thinner then. And also, we're talking about 60 years ago. So, to say that the clothing is out of date is not fair to the phrase out of date. As a theater guy, I look at it and I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. This is like, you can't get much more authentic costume pieces because they're actually authentic from that time period. But we tried to say, hey, this swimsuit from 1960, do you really think you need this? I mean, do you have a burning desire to hang on to this because you're going to fit into it one day? You're 83. Be reasonable. And we were told, oh, those are my precious things. I can't part with those. Then you're not getting rid of anything. Because we went through this with a couple different categories of things. Oh, those are precious to me. Okay. And inside I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'll sell it when you're dead. And it's a horrible thing to pop into your head, but and I didn't say it, but it's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay. Since you're going to be unreasonable while you're alive, and your coffin will not be big enough to contain you and all of your precious things. Because we're not burying you in a steel container. We're not doing the shipping container thing. Nope. You're not a pharaoh. So, but she said that she's kind of come to her senses and she realizes that it's stupid to hang on to these things. And I'm like, hey, welcome to the reality. Appreciate that. So, but I don't know where we're going with this. I don't know if she's gonna want to stay out, which honestly, I want whatever will make her happy. But at the same time, if she thinks she's going to stay out because it will help us get through it faster, I guarantee that's not the case. You know what I mean? The idea of spending time with my mom is cool. I like that. But, if she's awake 4 hours a day, the rest of the time she's asleep in her chair or at the dining room table, maybe you'd be happier with Dad. Maybe Dad would be happier if you were with him. And you'd have a medical staff, like, right there. Considering the bucket of problems that you have physically. Now I'm trying to not be a jerk, get things done, and make sure that everybody has some kind of happy ending. Not in the Red District massage parlor kind of way. So this one I gotta leave for her to figure out, decide. Maybe she'll sleep at the dining room table while Pix and I go through things that once were precious and now are expendable. I don't know how this is gonna play out. But I still have to take point with the Dad situation. We gotta get his medical record accurate. That's step one. So I gotta get a hold of his primary. And while keeping the peace with everyone involved, kindly let him know that my mom probably lied to him a bunch. Oh. If I don't get my ambassadorial patch after this one, the judges suck. Because my mom lied to him. I know my mom had to lie to him. But anyway, I don't even know what time it is. I'm sure I'm talking way longer than I probably should. I should get to bed. And yeah, it's time. Oh, cats. I can't see anything without my glasses. Alright. I'll sign off here. I'll catch everybody up when I actually know something. And or, check in as usual. But yeah, so my mom's home. She does not have the machine, which is cause for concern. And there's a strange man in the house. I mean, realistically it's true. So, yeah. November's gonna be crazy cuckoo. Alright. Deadpool 3. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan of the Marvel movies in general, Holy Cats. Check it out. It's really good. Anyway, make it a great day.